Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and today I'm going to be doing an initial comparison between the Nike PG4 and the Nike PG5. So both of these shoes retail for 110 bucks. So pretty much the same price. If you guys want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave a link in the description box. The PG4 is actually on sale for quite cheap, so definitely check the PG4 out. But let's get it started off right away with the tracciones. So the pattern is super different. The PG4 traction was not the best. It was solid, but it wasn't the best. You know, like the PG3 traction was amazing. Like it picked up a good amount of dust. But other than that, I mean, it had a solid bite and all that. Here in the PG5, it looks like, you know, it looks like the Kobe 9 traction pattern. I didn't play in these yet, but trying it on my wood floors, the traction didn't seem like amazing, like god tier, you know. And you know, it seemed pretty solid, and I would say the stop seemed pretty much the same as the PG4, but you know, like I was expecting so much from this traction pattern. So I guess I am hitting on the PG5 traction a little bit, but they both seem pretty similar. And also durability, they both seem like they're not going to be the best for outdoor use. I mean, the PG4 don't play with outdoor, you know. The nubs definitely do rip off. PG5, I don't know yet, but I also don't think it's going to be very good for durability. As far as the heel to toe transition goes, it seems pretty similar, but I would say the PG4 is a little bit better. So here in the heel, there is a little bit of a curved shape, and the heel has a good amount of compression in both of the shoes. So the heel doesn't feel super clunky or anything. It feels actually pretty smooth. But here in the forefoot, as you guys can see, the PG5 curves up a little bit less. You know, the PG4 comes up a little bit more. So I like that a little bit better because the PG4 just, it didn't really feel slappy all too much to me, right? But just walking around in the PG5, it felt just a little bit flatter, and I felt like a little bit of a slapper, you know. But you know, both of the shoes have a good amount of forefoot flex, so I don't think the PG5 is going to be terrible, but we'll have to see on that. All right, moving on to the cushion, right? So the cushion is the same, right? You know, they're using pretty much the same exact air strobel unit right underneath your foot. They're just calling it something different than the PG5, but it's essentially the Nike air strobel unit. And does it feel similar? No, it feels actually pretty different, right? So as far as the air strobel unit goes, the PG4 feels way better. I don't know what it is. Maybe the PSI in the PG4 air strobel unit is just like higher. You know, the PG5, I can't really feel it as much, but like pushing it in with the hand, it seems pretty similar. So maybe it's the insole, right? The insole in the PG4 and the PG5 look the same as far as the foam goes, but the PG5 to me feels a little bit stiffer, so maybe that might be one of the reasons why as well. But whatever it may be, I'm just saying the PG5 doesn't feel as soft or as bouncy, and it doesn't have as much compression in the air strobel unit as the PG4. One thing that the PG5 does better than the PG4 though is court feel. The court feel seems a good amount lower actually. So the PG4 like didn't have the best court feel. Like I didn't really mind it all too much, but comparing it to other shoes that have really good court feel like the Harden Volume 4 and like the Curry 8, this felt a little bit higher than that. The PG5 actually has good court feel, you know, so that's one thing that they changed and that feels a little bit different. As far as the foam goes, they both feel very, very soft, and I like how they did that, you know. Just keep like, you don't need to make the foam like super stiff or something like that. You know, like in the KD13 with all that rubber, and the KD12, they caged it up like crazy. I don't know why they did that, you know. The PG4 and the PG5, essentially the cushion is pretty much free range organic USCA organic Black Angus midsole, you know what I'm saying? So they both have a good amount of compression here in the heel, and they both feel soft in the heel. So I don't know, for me right now, I like the PG4 a little bit better, and the PG5 having a little bit better court feel doesn't like do a whole lot for me. So as far as the initial comparison goes, I like the PG4 a little bit better. All right, moving on to the materials. Yeah, the PG4 I would say is a good amount better, right? So as you guys know, in the PG4 we have this like inner booty. It's basically a one booty upper, and it's this neoprene material with a good amount of stretch and a little bit of padding, which stretches over your foot and feels really nice. And then you have this shroud material, which is made of this mesh. It just makes it feel a little bit cozier, and it just feels a lot more like quality, you know. Even though the PG4 didn't have the greatest quality, it just feels so much better than the PG5. The PG5 material, especially here in the toe box, I would say it's thinner. It's a really thin material, but then it's so flimsy and cheap feeling that just I'm not a huge fan of it right now. I feel like, you know, once I break it in and once I plane it, it'll get a little bit softer, but right now it feels pretty crappy. And the tongue I guess in the PG5 has a little bit of padding as well, right? The same amount of padding as the PG4, but it's not a one booty. You know, it is a half booty construction tongue as compared to the one booty construction tongue here in the PG4. And then as far as the ankle padding goes, I would say the PG4 has a little bit more, actually a good amount more. You know, the padding is actually really nice and it's super thick here in the back of the heel. So that's what made the fit in the PG4 really tight, because I feel like this foam is just pushing your foot forward. The PG5 still has foam. It's kind of like an Achilles pad, but it's a lot less than the PG4. So there's a little bit of a difference there. Personally for me, I would say I like the PG4 materials better. You know, it feels cozier, but it's not like that thick or anything. It feels softer, it feels more quality. It looks better in my opinion as well. And like I mentioned, I like this like one booty construction a little bit better because it stretches over my foot. So in pretty much every way right now, I like the PG4 materials better. I guess besides the PG5 material being like super thin and minimal. All right, moving on to the fit. So the PG4, as you guys know, ran small, so go up half a size. But other than that, it's a really good fit, super duper snug as well, especially here in the toe box. The PG5, I would suggest going true to size, but if you do, it is a really tight fit. Like my toes literally go right to the edge of the toe box. So if you don't like that, I would suggest going up half a size. The PG5 also has a little bit more toe space, you know, a little bit more dead space here in the toe, which I don't like as much. If you like to have a roomier fit in the toe, I mean, the PG5 is a little bit better. But if you like a super snug fit in the toe box, the PG4 is better. As far as the width goes, I would say it's pretty much the same. You have this fused material in the PG4, which kind of squeezes the sides of your feet. The PG5 has this foam here. As you guys can see, it kind of looks like a mountain. That kind of squeezes my forefoot a little bit. So width-wise, they're both narrow, so just watch out for that. They're both easy to put on as well. I would say the PG4 is a little bit harder because of this one booty construction tongue. The PG5, you can open up the tongue a little bit more. But as far as the heel tab goes, they both have a pretty high heel tab, which feels nice. As far as support and lockdown goes, I feel like the PG5 is going to be a little bit better. You know, the PG4, personally for me, I didn't have any issues, but I am a lighter dude, and I'm a smaller guy on the court as well usually. But I mean, if you're bigger, I mean, there's really no lateral containment. There's not a whole lot, you know. Like I mentioned, you have this fused material, but that doesn't do all too much. So as I said in the performance review, if you're a little bit bigger, just watch out for that lateral containment. But here in the PG5, I don't think that's going to be an issue at all, because you actually have lateral counter. You have the foam coming up, you have this leather material here in the forefoot, you have an internal TPU heel counter. So as far as the support goes, I feel like it's going to be better here in the PG5 for lateral containment. As far as the lateral stability goes, they're both around the same width, which is pretty interesting. So I don't know, I didn't really have any issues with the PG4, and I don't think the PG5 is going to have any issues either. All right, as far as the weight goes, I think the PG5 is going to be lighter. It feels lighter in hand. So 10.72 ounces for the PG5, and then the PG4 is 12.28. Okay, so it's like what, 1.5 ounces lighter for the PG5, and it definitely feels lighter. You know, like I said, the materials are a lot thinner, so it feels more minimal on foot as far as the upper goes. And I feel like that's pretty much it. You know, like the PG4 has this like entire shroud. Like the PG4 didn't feel like bulky or heavy at all to me, but the PG5 just takes it to another level. So I guess that's one good thing about the PG5 over the PG4. All right, moving on to the aesthetics. I don't know, guys. I don't like either of the shoes aesthetically. The PG4 I didn't like, even though I love this shoe and I have so many pairs for performance. Aesthetically, I don't like it. So there's the PG4, and the PG5, I also don't think it looks that great. But I'm gonna hold on to that statement because I don't know, like I don't like this colorway all too much. It's not a great colorway, but there might be some dope colorways that come out. And maybe I might change my mind a little bit on the PG5 if that does happen. But right now, I don't really like either of them, so there's that. Tell us what you guys think looks better down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, as far as my initial comparison goes, the PG4 is just better. You know, materials are better, cushion feels better, traction, you don't really know yet. The fit is just a little bit better for me right now because I do like the more snug fit. So pretty much, it's not looking too good for the PG5, you know. I mean, I feel like it'll still be a solid performer, but comparing it to the PG4, in my opinion right now, I don't think it's as good, you know, because I had pretty high expectations, right? You know, Kobe 9 traction, goat traction? Not really, it doesn't feel like it right now. The cushion, like I mentioned, it doesn't feel as nice as the PG4. Materials are really crappy, you know, and the fit, it's not terrible for me, but personally I like to have a snug fit here in the toe box, and it doesn't feel like that snug for me. So yeah, it's not looking too good for the PG5. So there's the initial comparison video for the PG4 and the PG5. Again, if you guys want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave links below. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.